We have some very big news to report about the Supreme Court today. Slate reports, quote, "The Supreme Court refused to stay a federal judge's order invalidating Alabama's ban on same-sex marriage. They effectively admitted that the court is preparing to rule in favor of nationwide marriage equality at the end of this term." Whoa! Do you understand that? They're saying that in the upcoming case on gay marriage, the Supreme Court is going to go in the proper direction, and they're going to rule in favor of nationwide marriage equality, and they're going to strike down the bans in individual states on gay marriage. You're going to say, no, you're not allowed, constitutionally, you're not allowed to ban gay marriage. Amazing news, man, amazing news. So here's how we know this. Quote, "Typically, the justices will stay any federal court ruling whose merits are currently under consideration by the Supreme Court. The justices will rule on the constitutionality of state-level marriage bans this summer, so they might as well put any federal court rulings on hold until they've had a chance to say the last word. If the court ultimately ruled against marriage equality, the Alabama District Court's order would be effectively reversed, and those gay couples who wed in the coming months would find their unions trapped in legal limbo. But that is not what the court did here. Instead, 7 justices agreed without comment that the district court's ruling could go into effect, allowing thousands of gay couples in Alabama to wed. That is not what a court that planned to rule against marriage equality would do. By permitting these marriages to occur, the justices have effectively tipped their hand, revealing that any lower court's pro-gay ruling will soon be affirmed by the high court itself." Mission accomplished! Everybody party! Celebrate good times, come on! Oh, this is great news! Now, just to break it down in layman's terms, as very simply here, what they're saying is the Supreme Court normally would stay the decision of the lower courts here. And they would say, no, you're not allowed to get gay married until we make our decision at the higher level. But what they did here is they said, go ahead, we're not even going to stay it. We're going to allow you to get married. Now, the argument is they wouldn't do that if they were going to rule against it in the upcoming case. Because then they would have said, yeah, okay, whatever, we'll allow you to get married now. But then they would be reversing that decision, essentially, and saying, ha, sorry, you can't get married in Alabama, gay married, not going to let you do that. They'd be reversing the decision like that, which wouldn't make any sense. It would be like they're teasing the people of Alabama to allow them to get married for like a few months and then to say, just kidding, LOL, JK, son, step aside, you're not getting married. So they're right. I mean, Slate, they were the ones to point this out. I haven't seen anybody else report on this yet, but their argument makes sense. The argument is sound to me. The argument seems to be correct, so maybe I'm the first one to be giving you guys this information, but there you have it, man. We will have gay marriage in America in every state shortly. Look, we knew we were going to win at some point. We all knew, we've been saying it for the longest time now, that it's just a question of how we get there. Are we going to get there because the Democrats do a full court press and they propose bills to legalize gay marriage at the federal level? Are we going to get there through court decisions? What's the avenue through which we will reach the goal that we know we're eventually going to reach? And I didn't know. I was skeptical the court was going to do it this time. In fact, we did a segment not too long ago where I predicted the opposite. I thought it was going to be a close vote, but I thought that it was going to lose. Marriage equality was going to lose. And the reason I said that and the reason I thought that is they've had opportunities before where they could have ruled this way, and they could have said all state bans are unconstitutional and you have to allow gay marriage. And they didn't do it. In the past, they purposefully found this middle road to walk on. So what they did with the Defense of Marriage Act, for example, when they struck that down, that means that If the states decided to legalize gay marriage on their own, then the federal government had to recognize it. So that was the middle ground where they said it's a state's issue. Each state can decide if they want gay marriage. And that was the middle ground. But now they're saying they're going a step further now, according to this evidence here, where they're saying, no, now it's going to be not a states' rights issue. It's going to be a constitutional issue, and there's going to be a protection under the 14th Amendment Equal Protection Clause to treat everybody equally in terms of marriage, to give LGBT people the same rights that straight people have in terms of getting married, having the same rights under Social Security law and tax law and inheritance law and stuff like that. So there we have it, man. I mean, I guess we need to delay the celebration until then. But if you were to ask me, well, what are the numbers now? Given this information, what are the numbers now? What's the likelihood that we are going to get marriage equality through the Supreme Court whenever they hear this case in a few months? I'd say it's about 85% now. 85% likelihood that we're going to get it. So finally, it feels good. You know, there was the civil rights movement back in the day that was incredibly important and incredibly powerful and a defining moment in American history. This is going to be another huge moment in American history where we finally realize that we need to treat gay people, at least in terms of marriage, equal under the law. The next thing we need to fight, though, is the 29 states that still allow somebody to get fired if they're gay, or somebody can kick you out of their restaurant or their place of business if you're gay. That's the next fight, but this is arguably the biggest fight in the gay rights arena, and all the evidence right now is pointing to the conclusion that it's going to go our way.